The huntress Coco Chanel. When she was told to marry an English duke and live in luxury for the rest of her life, she replied, "We have 100 duchesses, but only one Coco Chanel. I want to be special." So now let's look at the story of Coco Chanel, this trendsetter lady in the world of fashion and perfume, and how she seized opportunities in her life. Did she? Coco, originally named Gabrielle Posh Fochemnel de Vian, possibly like many people of that time, was born in poverty in a place called Saumur in France and practically lived in a church orphanage until the age of 18. But you've heard it said that in every failure there can be the seed of success of the same size or greater. For Coco too, it's been like that, to the extent that years later biographers have said that probably that hard life and frugality, which certainly had very strict discipline in that orphanage, later helped Chanel endure business pressures a lot and toughened her up, especially because Chanel fundamentally learned sewing in that orphanage. Between the ages of 18 and 21, Coco realizes that she doesn't have a special future in singing and hosting and such things. And it is precisely here that she becomes acquainted with a French officer, heir to a textile factory named Balsan. And it is said she becomes the mistress of this Mr. Balsan, whom we call Chanel's first catch. Balsan is the one who notices Coco Chanel's talent and genius and encourages her to start her own business. Chanel then goes and opens her first boutique. Shortly after this, one of Mr. Balsan's friends, named Captain Edward Capel, who also in a way becomes Chanel's new lover. They say that in pushing Coco towards starting a business played an effective role, and perhaps Mr. Edward can be said to be Chanel's second catch. This lady had a collection of lovers. Well, let's move on. Chanel from the very beginning came and took inspiration from men's clothing and even military officers' uniforms for her women's designs and made daring creations. Let's note that at that time it was a phase where high-class women had to wear complicated and cumbersome clothes and those ruffled skirts, and sun hats and umbrellas and such things were worn. On the other hand, there was a feminist thought that said women are no different from men and can wear completely male clothing and do men's work. Why should they put on makeup anyway, and such things? But it's interesting that one of the reasons for Coco Chanel's success is said to be that she combined the idea of an independent feminist woman with a lady in an elongated dress holding an umbrella. Who said women should not work and must definitely wear complicated frilly dresses. On the other hand, she also said she does not agree with the idea that women should dress and behave just like men. So Coco came up with the first women's suits, and us designs our skirt suits for Falconer. While giving women freedom and masculine power, they also gave them a sexy and sensual attraction, and that's why her brand was quickly seen and liked. Among her outfits is another outfit that's known by the name Chanel even up to now. It's the famous LBD. It is said that the black dress became a sort of uniform for all tasteful ladies world, and just like Henry Ford, who introduced the Model T and became a leader in the car world, these LBDs also brought global fame to Chanel. In short, a little more time passes, and during this period a duke from Tsarist Russia who had fled the Bolshevik Soviet Union named Dmitry becomes captivated by Chanel's talent. But Hunter the third introduces Coco to a famous French perfumer. The result is that Chanel No. 5, one of the most famous perfumes in the world, is introduced. The perfume that is still selling like crazy even now. They say the success of this perfume is partly due to its bottle, which Coco modeled after a very fine whiskey bottle. She believed that the bottles of products play a big role in their success, and as a result, Chanel No. 5 became a product that was designed entirely based on the love archetype, and as we said, it is still among the best-selling products. Now, shortly after these events, they tell Coco, "Come marry this Duke of Westminster. This poor fellow is madly in love with you. Why don't you become his wife and live in luxury for the rest of your life?" Do you not want to live? And she gives the same answer we mentioned at the beginning of the video. There are hundreds of duchesses, meaning wives of dukes, but there is only one Coco Chanel. I want to be special. Well, there is another step in Coco Chanel's business journey that came to my mind. I definitely need to mention it. They say that early on, when she opened her boutique, she had special support from two people, her sister Antoinette and her aunt Adrienne. These two women became her first fashion models, and afterward they would parade through Paris every day in new Chanel outfits and promote them. I mention this to say that the role of a loyal and trusted teammate, especially at the start of a business, is important. Now, since we are at the end of the video, let's do a summary. Regarding the Chanel brand, the hardships we sometimes endure in life, like Chanel's difficult times, might in some ways lead to our future successes. They become. 2. It is good to learn technical, artistic and specialized skills from a young age, just like sewing, which Coco learned during her teenage years. It was 3. Connect ourselves to great and capable people. Now, I'm not saying become their lover and catch them, but networking is very important. 4. Sometimes we have to not fall for appealing and easy offers to build a distinguished brand, like the marriage proposal from the Duke of Westminster. Became synonymous with the Chanel brand and remained Chanel. Lastly, life, business, success, and failure can have different paths for everyone, and we better be able to get ideas from listening to them rather than copying them exactly. A writer and brand consultant